Hi, how are you? Welcome from the beautiful state of Tennessee, which you're not going to get to see. I am in Tennessee taking care of my daughter. She had surgery. No, I mean, it's important. She had that plantitis in both of her feet, and her right foot has been bad for like 15 years. Um, they decided on surgery, so they went in and cut the ligaments in a V shape, so they wouldn't grow back together. So she cannot put weight on her foot. So I am here for 2 to 3 weeks to take care of her while her husband is at work. So we've been sitting around doing puzzles and colorings and watching movies, which I'm not a movie person. We watched Mamma Mia, boring, and Tickets to Paradise. That was funny. I'm glad I didn't pay to see it at a movie, but I've been wanting to see it, and very seldom do I ever want to see a movie. So I'm like, there, sis, I sat through 2 movies, and she goes, Mom, the first movie you got up 5 times and went outside. Okay, so to me, that was watching the whole movie. Now her husband's home on the weekends. I could take off. But I've seen a lot of Tennessee. I'm low on funds, so sitting, and the weather is beautiful. So I'm just sitting outside enjoying it, and rearranging the van, trying to make more room. And either I've got to get rid of stuff or I got to get a bigger van. And I really have been sitting and thinking about a bigger van. I just don't want to give up the gas mileage. I like the smallness of the minivan, excuse me, because I was in Arkansas or Texas, one of the two, and Interstate 10 had construction. People were being stupid, passing at 90 miles an hour. When there wasn't construction, I had people passing on the right hand side, and I was in the far right lane. And with that extra 6 to 7 to 12 inches width, I just don't want to be stressed out when I'm driving, and I know how this handles. So I keep thinking about it, and maybe someday I will, but I'm going to stick with the minivan. So that means either rearranging it or getting rid of stuff. And I have gotten rid of, probably 20 things. Some clothes, I threw 3 pieces of clothes away that were like threadbare. Um, Things that I haven't worn in a couple of years, they'll actually go back when I go to Iowa, and I'll take them to the consignment store, because that way I can make like 20-30 bucks, and it's half tank of gas. The biggest thing is I'm trying to find a place to put my guitar, because at night I've been setting it up in the front seat, which if I'm out boondocking, that's not a good thing, because that means my front seat's got stuff in it and I need to be able to get into it and drive away. If I'm traveling, I set it on my bed, and then when I get in there, then I gotta find a place to set it. So that is my main thing. Other than I got rid of 20 things, but I bought those 3 pairs of boots. I bought a pair of sandals, or flip-flops, and I bought 3 dresses. So I went second-handing again, which is never good for me to do. But I love my summer dresses, and it's almost time to be in them all the time. So there's not been a lot of traveling. I didn't show a lot of Texas because it's the same thing the last 3 years. I'm getting a little burnout on Texas. I would love to go to Baja California, which is actually New Mexico. California sold Baja, the peninsula, to Mexico back in the 1800s. They had bigger fish they wanted to fry. And I've watched a lot of van life people that says it's safe. but I'm just not sure it's for me. Um, so I'm not sure where I'm going to end up next winter. I know it's not going to be in the Midwest. I'm not even sure I'm going back for Christmas because last year was so cold. Um, so I didn't show a lot of Texas stuff. I didn't. I stopped in Arkansas and camped with some friends of mine for 4 days, but really didn't leave the campsite. Just kicked back and relaxed. And then the drive here, I made a couple of stops, um, slept in a rest area. So I really didn't do any sightseeing on my way back. So then once I leave here, I will head to Iowa. See the grandkids up there, great grands. So that means I'll get to see all my kids, great grandkids. I try to do that twice a year. Um, it just works out um, that usually when I leave Tennessee, I can shoot up to Iowa. So the next 3, 4 weeks, not really going to be traveling. It's going to be staying overnight in a rest area, um, seeing them, being parked at drive, stop in, see a few friends. Once I leave Iowa, which I'll be there for almost 3 weeks, I will head to Nebraska and see my cousins. So there's really not going to be any traveling or adventures as I'd like to think. So it's been kind of a mundane. I'm anxious to get out on the road and start traveling and seeking new areas, but I need another month and a half before I do that. Family is always a top priority, so I try to make it back. I don't do it for the great grands, and I don't buy gifts for the great grands because they have so many people buying for them. And the grandkids, any kid under 13 and under, I go back for their birthday parties. So that leaves 2 turned 13 last year. So I have 1, 2, 3 more. So March and July, I'm usually in Iowa. And then August, this will be her last year. Um, and then I only buy for those kids. And then, of course, Christmas, I'm not sure. And I don't go back for my kids' birthdays. Usually they work and don't really celebrate it. I try to do something neat for my birthday. Look what the world got with me when I was born. So, I'm going to show a couple pictures of the van. Um, what happens, you guys know what happens when I rearrange. The front gets trashed. And then I'll show a couple pictures of things I seen on the way up, or just some pretty pictures. But just kind of wanted to check in, let you guys know. Um, the reason the videos really aren't showing much travel or van life, but this is the advantage of living in my minivan. My kids need me, I can be there in a couple of days, usually within a day. Um, and I don't have to be in their house unless it's cold, but I can be there as they need. So that is one of the biggest advantage of van life. I don't have to worry about, oh, I left Iowa, it's snowing, I got to find somebody to cut my grass or shovel my walks or take care of this or take care of that. Everything I need is right here, excuse me, and just goes with me. So that's, if you're considering van life, think about the flexibility of being able to travel with your kids or to your kids. Last year, after I had left, um, my daughter texted me and said, we had a bear in our yard for about 2 weeks. So that's really cool. So she's like, Mom, you got to keep your van doors shut. You'll have a bear crawling in with you. So It's good practice. I am in bear country quite a bit in the summer, and I just get pretty relaxed out here. So I guess you could call it spring cleaning, because I cleaned the windshield and the front two windows, polished all the hard surfaces on the passenger side, and I did all the hard surfaces in the back in the kitchen already. So I got a lot of my spring cleaning done. I got rid of a lot of stuff. There's still more stuff I have to get rid of, but it's getting a little bit less crowded. A lot of that stuff, like I said, will go back to Iowa. That whole thing, and it goes to the other side. I'm getting rid of everything in there, plus everything in there. Travel, explore, and stay fantastic. See y'all soon.